Hello and welcome to Mirror Music. On episode 32, we discuss Jay-Z's Imaginary Players and the Counting Crows classic Mr. Jones. We also discuss the spoils of fame and the price you have to pay to get there, and how these two songs are talking to each other from opposite sides of being famous. We also talk about what makes someone an all-time great songwriter and continue to give the most excellent Joni Mitchell her flowers in that regard. So thanks for joining us. Now, on with the show. But having theme music would be awesome.
Just something to think about. Hit like and subscribe to our page, everybody. Thank everybody for pulling up on us. We have another great episode today. We are covering one of my personal favorite songs, Jay-Z's Imaginary Player, and Counting Crows, Mr. Jones. Now, I was fascinated by this pick because I thought to myself, because I'm familiar with Mr. Jones, the record. It was really big.
Yeah, it was.
It was really, really big. It was. I remember the video well too.
Yeah,
the video maybe more than the song. It got played so much. This is back when video mattered for people.
Right. This song was out in 1993, so it's
correct.
Then-ish. Yeah.
But I was thinking, why did Andrew pick Mr. Jones? But then I thought about it. I was like, I've never really listened to the words to Mr. Jones. And I was like, the song called Mr. Jones, and so to my chagrin, when I actually listened to the words, I was like, oh, well, this would be why,
Yeah.
This is why we do this. And this is why he picked this song to pair with it, because, it is, quite frankly, very, very, very eerily similar to Imaginary Player in the rhetoric, just obviously from a pop culture perspective of what the Imaginary Player is.
I picked them because, and like you're implying, like they're almost talking to each other, right? They're two people, imaginary players, and the narrator of Mr. Jones are on either side of the fame line. Like one has just made it over the line, and one of them hasn't. Like in the song anyway. So they're like almost talking to each other a little bit, I think.
I realize that, and this is what I mean about the pop culture perspective, and not even musically. I realize Mr. Jones has such a wide lens to it lyrically, and Jay is such a nuanced orator.
Yeah,
like
I love
special is nuance, like the way that he specifies it. It's almost like he's not trying to give you a broad lens. Like he's like, no. He's like, come down here and look at this shit that's going on out here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Imaginary Players is not a song that I knew before the show. Like and obviously because he's got stuff on Tidal now. Jay does that. This is I had to find it on YouTube, but it's not like on YouTube Music, or I didn't look on Apple Music. It's harder to find. And one of my notes was that, like, I wasn't really his big singles that like broke him out into the wider world. For me, anyway. This may not be true, but like when I became aware of him were Hard Knock Life and Big Pimpin', which are both after this. Those are the first ones where I became aware of who he was. And so I was not really. I went back and looked at the track list for Volume 1, and like I was like, I don't know any of these songs. I know Streets is Watching Now because you suggested it and you talk about it on According to Hip Hop all the time, but like I'd not heard any of them. So I'm looking forward to learning about the record, learning about this specific one, like hearing about his rise. All of those kinds of things, because I don't know a ton about him. And this is our first episode on him.
So he's a legend twofold in that regard, because I was thinking when you said Hard Knock Life and Big Pimpin', and I'm thinking like, well, that is how the masses became acquainted with him mostly. So you have to understand, by the time he's dropping Volume 1 in 97, he's already like borderline legendary status from what we're hearing coming up on Volume 1 and magnum opus, which is Reasonable Doubt. So, and when he's a legend, he's a legend not just in rap, kind of like Grinding with the clips.
Yeah.
So this is a guy like Jay had things that rappers didn't have, and he didn't rap, like financially, physically. money wise, jewelry wise. So this song is kind of speaking to the hustler's ethos of who Jay really is that makes him legendary. There's a few things about him that's legendary. One is his hustle and his ambition.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all over this record. You know,
Mm-hmm.
another one is that nuanced, detailed conversational flow.
Mm-hmm.
This is that at some of the finest that he does it. You know, so when
Yeah.
I'm saying this is one of those records, like he might be known because of Hard Knock Life and Big Pimpin', but he's a legend because of Imaginary Players.
Okay.
This is one of those records where it's like when he's laying claim to being one of the best rappers ever,
Mm-hmm.
this is evidence.
All right.
If you want to lay claim to it, it's like, no. It's like he made Imaginary Players. Now, a quick backstory, and I didn't find this out until I was doing According to Hip Hop. This song is about Mace in particular.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, where would you like to start with the record? I'm sure you have notes because he's very, very funny. And
No, it's this is hilarious, but it's also
he's funny.
it's very this is my house, right? Like this
Right.
is
It's funny. It's funny and disrespectful.
yeah.
It is.
But if he goes all the way down the line, it's even funnier than I know that he's talking to one person particularly. But like, but he's talking to a group of people essentially, like that are illustrating certain things in their songs that are not also living the life that would indicate they're indicating, right? Like they're talking about all the jewelry and all the money and women and blah 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 blah. But then he says, "I see you in the streets and like you don't have any of this. So what's up, dude? What's up?"
Right. It's that, and it's the way that it's done. It's not done with anger. It's done with air.
He's mocking them.
Yes, it's done with arrogance and disgust. He's like, you have a lot of nerve coming out here like this.
Yeah.
So let's go to the verse that you're talking about. That's the start of the second verse where he goes, and now you got these young cats acting like they slum cats, all in they dumb raps, talking about how they fun stack.
Mm-hmm.
When I see them in the streets, I don't see none of that. Damn, boy, where the fuck's the Hummer at? Where's all the ice with all the platinum under that? Those ain't Rolex diamonds. What the fuck you done to that? Y'all rapping ass niggas, you funny to me. You sell the records being you, but still you want to be me. Now listen to what he says. I guess for every buck you make, it's like 100 for me. But you still running around thinking that you got something on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I done did. And y'all want to take my flow and run with it? That's cool. I was the first one with it. It's just a straight class on talking shit to somebody.
It's again not angry. It's dismissive. It's just like
right, like the nerve of you. Crumbs on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is antecedent to dirt off my shoulder. I mean, it's that kind of like
this dirt off your shoulder like times 10.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Disrespect is like in tow. You have to understand the disrespect is heavy. You feel the arrogance and the disrespect of the record, and he's personalizing it. You know, your single was 99 cents. Mine was $4.
Mm-hmm.
He's like literally calling them cheap and dirty whores. He's like, "You're so cheap. Look how they just slutted you off right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's $4. I'm gonna make more." He's letting them know. He's like, they're gonna buy. Look, I could sell a quarter of what you sell, and I'm still gonna make more money than you. Y'all aren't out here hustling. Y'all are Imaginary Players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and some of the best things about this record and what makes this record special is actually when he's not rapping, Andrew. I can't stress that enough. The shit talking.
Yeah, at the end.
Verses serves as the hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's epic too. The whole damn Playboy, where the fuck's the Hummer at? That's legendary.
I love that. Love it.
That's legendary.
Yeah.
That's legendary. You understand when he's talking this way? Nobody had really talked this way before, even. Like, nobody was being insightful and arrogant and disrespectful about it. There was always like an anger or a vitriol that came to it.
He's not pissed at all.
No, because he's saying stuff like, ain't no Cartiers in the lenses, switch your frames. Ain't no manicures on board and switch your planes. Andrew, I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't know that they did manicures on planes until he said that. I was 16. It's like, you get a manicure on a plane. It's like this. I was like, I used to joke with my friends, Andrew, like that we went to West Charlotte with, that he was going to get indicted for how he was talking on Reasonable Doubt. So that's that talk that I'm talking about where it's like what? I was like, you're getting manicures on a plane? I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's not rapping, guys. It's not rap money. I was like, rap don't make money like that.
Nope. Yeah.
And he's one of the reasons that rappers make the money that they make.
Yeah.
Man, he is, because he was on this type of shit early, quite frankly. So it's kind of like this would be, it's like if you were to ask what would be quote unquote a hip hop head, what one of Jay-Z's seminal records would be, most of us would pick this as be one of those 10 records. So I consider this to be his 10 best records. I do.
Yeah, it's a great song. And again, like I said, it was not one that I knew. But I mean, even down to the sample that's in it, which is also dismissive. I mean, it can be read as dismissive because it's saying imaginary playmates, right? I mean, so it's not, so it's winking at the title of the song, but also kind of winking at calling them little bitches too. Like there's a little of that in there. No, not just a little. There's some of that in there too.
No, it's true. So even the so at the end, you're talking about the end, talking about, yo, dog, what's the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6? Like 30 to 40 grand, cocksucker, beat it. Was like, first of all, to backtrack a little bit, that whole that whole diatribe at the end, that's based on a Biggie line from Life After Death on a record with Jay called I Love the Dough.
Okay.
Because on the record, Big says, and I quote, ain't shit changed except the number on the dot. Hold on, set the number on the dot. Set the number on the dot after the range. Way niggas look at me now, kind of strange. I hate y'all too. So the whole Range Rover line is actually a playoff of Biggie's line where he's saying ain't shit changed, set the number on the dot on the range. Like saying, like, I've upped my game. I'm not riding in the regular range, like, cloth.
Well, that's the difference between 4.0 and 4.6, yeah, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So that Jay line on Imaginary Player is a playoff the Biggie line on I Love the Dough, which Jay is featured on.
Okay.
That's some of that nuance and some of that brilliance that he provides. Because he can take something like that and expand upon it. And he talks that talk. That's that Brooklyn talk that we love. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but special stuff. He's his flow is so silky and agile. He's real effortless on the record. Like it's almost like he's making a point to let you know. It's like I don't even have to like really try really hard to beat you at this. Like I kind of already got you if you really want to know.
Yeah. I'm just demonstrating it now.
Right. This is already over, actually, if you really want to know the truth. I just thought I'd show up quick, let you know you're not me. You're never going to beat me. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I imagining there's like 3 different flows and 3 different verses too? Like, did I make that up? Yeah. So he's changing it up.
His flow is different on every single verse. That's what I mean. He's doing it effortlessly, letting you know it's like, no, you can't fuck with me. I can come off right here, I can come off right there, and come off right here. Yeah. Like his what I would like to call, it's like, you know how you go to a hole of golf, like, the tee placement on the pin, different every day.
Right. Yeah.
So like he's like teeing off from different angles of the pin on each verse is how I look at that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna, today, like on this verse, the pin is 6 feet back,
Yeah.
Let's start and angle it here and shoot.
And this time I'm going to do it in a little more difficult place, just because I can, because I can do that and you can't do that. So
I'm gonna fade it. I'm gonna fade it to the right on this verse a little bit, like flow wise, like you can't do that. And the fact that he's talking about Mace, that's part of like some of the nuance of it, because it's like, well, Mace wasn't agile like that, not like this. Oh, never like this.
Yeah.
Stunning record.
Yeah, it's just so good. And like it's one of those, and one of the hooks that I walk around singing too. Like when I hear it, and I'm like, this is one of the ones that sticks. The Renee and whatever Renee and who is it? It's
Well,
who's the yeah the one who sent the people who are the song that's been sampled for the hook. It sticks in my head too.
it's actually one of those songs that it's like of his that it's like I go to it and still play it just to like
Hmm.
remind myself of like who exactly he is. It's like, oh yeah, that guy's special.
Just in case you forgot, like
Yeah.
that's because I
No,
mean people look at him now, like in the modern world, like as a mogul, as a not producer, but like a record executive kind of person. I think he formerly owned part of the Nets. I don't think he does anymore. But
yeah, or stake, correct.
like it is like that, and is the guy married to Beyonce, and I mean, like all of those, he's kind of moved into a different part of his life, and he's not looked at in the same way. I think as far as like making music right now, um,
Yeah,
and
maybe not now. He's still widely considered by a lot of people to be the greatest MC of all time. Um, it's kind of funny. I love covering this record just because I think, and it's important that I say this because of the rhetoric that we discourse on, according to hip hop, when we call Nas the greatest MC of all time. That doesn't mean I don't love Jay.
right.
You know, it's like, and I think some people like get that confused. It's like, well, I can think that Nas is the greatest MC of all time, and still like randomly want to hear Imaginary Player as much as I want to hear the setup by Nas. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it can be,
Yeah,
it can
again,
be,
I mean, it's this like, same conversation we had in the previous episode about Joni Mitchell and Dylan and Paul. I'm like, there's other people like just because you're not that good or as good as like the best that's ever done it, then it doesn't mean you're not still good. Like there's not, it's not a dismissive thing to say you're not as good as the best person to ever do it. Like it's not dismissive.
no, and that's just according to hip hop synopsis and take two. There are other podcasts and other legions in the hip hop media that do feel like that he is. I believe that, quite frankly, some of that is being paid for, but you know,
But there's also evidence for it too. Like I mean, from
right.
what you've said.
Oh no, yeah, yeah, no, no, no. There's evidence of it. I mean, and it's not like I have a problem with his rhetoric. I have a picture of Biggie hanging on my wall. It's the same rhetoric, damn
Yep.
near. So, great record. One of his more masterful moments, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And he's got a ton of masterful moments. But
Yeah.
this is one of them. This is one of those. Mike and I were having a conversation on Friday about what's the difference between a rapper and an MC, and I was just
Yep.
giving him perspective on it based
Hmm.
on how I like raised in this. And so when I speak to doing all the things, this is what I'm talking about. This record would be a great example of why Jay is an upper echelon, all time great, arguably greatest MC of all time to a lot of people because, well, he really does all the things on this record. Well, you want your MCs to be confident. Well, he's definitely not lacking that on this record.
No.
Okay. You want them to be insightful. Well, he's definitely that on this record. You want them to be entertaining. Well, he is witty and charming and he's
Yeah.
charismatic and coming, especially on this record. You want it to have a certain bravado. Well, he has that. You want it to be lyrically inclined. It has it. Flow has it. Change of delivery just to keep you even more kind of like on your toes as like a core music lover. Like,
Hmm.
check. Like on this one record,
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
hard. People understand how difficult it is to do that for
Hmm.
just one song, let
Right.
alone a career littered with moments like it. So he's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to come back around to something you said earlier too, the conversational nature of this. Like he's one of the only people that I know. I'm like, and it doesn't come off as like he's just freestyling it, but it does come off like this is the exact shit he wanted to talk to him, and it just happens to rhyme, and it just happens to fit in the part of the song too. And that's, I mean, I can only imagine that's incredibly hard to do.
You have what I like to call like artists have zones and pockets as
Hmm.
MCs that I believe where they exist in.
Okay.
And when we talk about them and their greatness, we tend to go to their greatest attribute or
Mm-hmm.
attributes. So let's take somebody like a Rakim or a Black Thought, whose greatest attributes are their lyrical propensity,
Mm-hmm.
density, and word usage without cursing. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You go to somebody like Nas, it's the storytelling and the insightful project window view that he provides. It's almost like it's very Langston Hughes like
Okay.
from the Harlem Renaissance when Nas is rapping. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just the stories are grimy or the times are grimy. You know,
Right.
very much like that. When he's in that zone, well, he's hard to beat. When Rakim's in that zone, he's hard to beat. When Black Thought's in that zone, he's hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
When Jay's in that conversational flow zone,
Yeah.
oh, that's the zone where he's hard to beat. And so part of why Imaginary Players is so special, in my opinion, is because, well, that's that conversational flow, Jay. That's that guy that you're talking about is the greatest MC of all time, if you feel that
Okay.
way. Like
Yeah.
if you're one of the people that feel he's the greatest MC of all time, that's the dude you're talking about.
Okay.
Like when I tell people Nas is the greatest MC of all time, like it's a totality of things, but in a vacuum, it's like, no, it's that guy on Verbal Intercourse and
Mm-hmm.
Take It in Blood. It's like, no, that guy, there's nothing you can do with that guy. That guy that's on Imaginary Players, it's like, oh, well, ain't too much you can do with that guy except like send him the guy that's on Take It in Blood or the guy that's on Microphone Fiend in 88. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The guy in 97 whose picture is on my wall, it's like he's on that level when he gets in that zone, in that space. And so it's like, this is one of those records that I think it's important because it's like, no, this is Jay the MC that you
Mm-hmm.
should remember and want to remember. And if you are MC, be afraid of.
Yeah. It would be terrifying if this person was bringing that at me,
Yeah.
like as an artist, not
Yeah.
like as a human being, but like as just as an artist, it'd be like,
Yeah.
well,
Artistically speaking.
can't
Yeah.
do anything with that. Can't do anything with it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hard to beat that. Yeah.
Um, I remember. I've told you also before. This is off subject a little bit from this particular song, but the secondary introduction I had to his music was the um, the remix of the Black album that Danger Mouse did, the Gray
Yeah.
album,
Yeah.
that where he
Yeah.
matched it up with the Beatles. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I became. That was one of my other entrance points to his music. And that, for those of you who haven't heard that, you should go listen to it. I mean, um, it's DJ Danger Mouse, the guy who did the album with Black Thought too, has like taken Beatles from the White Album songs and looped them and smashed them up to as like the backbeat to the Black Album, to the songs on the Black Album. And I've probably listened to that more than just about any other hip hop album ever. Um, I became. I mean, that was one of his particular. He's not just a lyrical genius; he's also a marketing genius too. Like the fact that he released a version of the Black Album with just him rhyming with no beats on it, and basically said, "Here, guys, put get somebody make remix this for me. Like here are the words, here are the lyrics, here are the rhymes, here are the bars. You make the beats." And I mean they did, and you see a ton of those. I mean there's a double Black album where somebody mixed it with Metallica's Black album too. Um, that's I don't think is good, but it's but
This,
I also just don't like Metallica as much as the Beatles. So I also became aware of how much that album had crossed over when I saw um Woody Page on Around the Horn say something like "wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight," like as part of his like argument or whatever. I'm like, this old white man is quoting 99 Problems now. Okay, so um like both that he's doing it and that even I in that context recognized what he was doing is that's like a double, like it's crossed over kind of thing.
so I'll tell you what, too, since you're talking about the marketing genius that he is and business wise, I just find him to be a genius in
Yeah,
general. If we
he is absolutely without question.
There has never been an MC this good that walked into the game with his business acumen.
Mhm.
Not walking in, a lot of them have acquired it,
Right.
learned things over time,
Hmm.
But man, he came in with a plan and with a vision. He did.
Mhm.
And so part of what makes his impact so heavy is the fact that, well, he made the money matter. Like,
Yeah.
and he was a great enough MC that it gravitated towards that. Because all the other great MCs that he gets mentioned with, oh, well, Rakim didn't have this business acumen in 1986, 87 when he was walking in the game.
Okay.
Nas didn't have this walking in the game. Big didn't have this business acumen walking in the game. He's the first MC on that level that just walked in. That's what I mean. Like, check, check. No, no, no. Check, check, check. And independent distribution deal, flip it. Like, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, I watched it happen. It's kind of funny, we're we're in high school together when it's happening and
Hmm.
starting to happen, and it happened fast.
Hmm.
Like, he took the game real, real fast. He had a plan and a vision for his business, and he went and executed. So, yeah.
That's actually one of the connections. It's not counting Crow's Time quite yet, but like one of the connections between the two artists too is that they also had a stratospheric rise. Like they formed as a band in 1991. The guy Geffen heard their demo in like early 1992, and there was a bidding war like with nine different publishing companies or music companies to release their album. And when they released the album, it just went like, so it was very similar. I don't know that Adam Duritz, the singer, had the same intent, but it definitely like took off in the same kind of way too.
Okay.
So which makes an interesting frame for talking about Mr. Jones, because that song is both the vehicle that caused the stratospheric rise and is a song that comes before it. So it's talking about like sitting in a bar. The basic frame is sitting in a bar, watching and thinking about being famous, right? So it's an interesting contrast and an interesting point of connection between the artists too. They both see. I thought Jay had a pretty fast rise too, and he did from what you've said, because he came in with a plan. This is how I'm going to do this, and he is completely independent of his MC skill, like an incredible businessman. Like he is, and even if, I mean, neither of us dislike his music, but even if you did dislike his music, you can't dismiss his business acumen. Like even if you don't like anything that he ever said.
Right. Even if you're not a fan of him, you got to respect the hustle. The first
Yeah.
song on Doubled Out is Can't Knock the Hustle.
Hmm.
The first
Right.
record on Magnum Opus, Can't Knock the Hustle. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
We do dirt like worms, produce G's like sperm, the legs spread like germs.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to Reasonable Doubt. I've heard pieces of it a long time ago, but like it's not.
Um, okay, so I'm a fan, big fan of the infamous by Mobb Deep, and find that
Mhm.
album to be what I would call one of those borderline top 10 albums, as in it's one of the 10 to 20
Mhm.
greatest albums I've ever heard, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I did a Patreon of Reasonable Doubt and the Infamous, and Reasonable Doubt beat the Infamous, and I was a little surprised by that. And I'm saying that to say that would probably make Reasonable Doubt a top 15 rap album.
Like all time.
Easy. All time. Yeah, all time.
Mm.
Yeah, all time.
That's big words. Yeah. That's
Hard to beat the Infamous. Like, the stuff that beats the Infamous is considered to be like the most special stuff ever, because
mhm.
the Infamous unto itself is some of the most special stuff ever.
Yeah. That's another one of those crossover too. But I would also put August and Everything after the album that the Counting Crows Mr. Jones comes from. Um, that album belongs in the 1990s, not all time, but like in the 1990s, on the up on the level with Nevermind and Pearl Jam's 10 and Jagged Little Pill um and Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. It belongs on that level, and it had that same
Tragic Kingdom.
Tragic Kingdom, same cultural impact. Maybe not same cultural impact as Nevermind, but that's a one of one album there. But let's
Nevermind,
still
Nevermind culturally, I think, stands above all those
right.
records.
Yeah, it
Music,
does.
you're saying.
It does,
I mean,
but it belongs in that group of albums. If you're talking about rock and roll music in the '90s, especially in the early '90s, like it's one of those that goes that because it's different from all of those too. Like it's very, it's more
folk.
it's more vocal, it's more lyrical, it's more stories, it's more, which is another connection between the two too. But I mean, he says in the song, "I want to be Bob Dylan." Like it's not a surprise that the songs sound like this. So
Glad you
which is
brought that.
different than all the other things we named of No Doubt and Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins. It sounds different than all of those things.
I didn't even realize that even like the title of the song, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Joneses, Mr. Jones. It's like right into the imaginary player theme immediately. That was my first thought. Like after I just heard the first few lyrics like roll out, I was like, "Oh, Mr. Jones." I'm like, I'm like, Andrew's a genius. Like this is great.
Sometimes I'm just lucky. Like this imaginary players, to be perfectly frank, was one of the harder ones to find a song to go with. Like it's a great song, but there's not a whole lot of songs in the rock and roll world that are like shit talking songs like that. So I mean, they do exist, but it's not, and this is not really a shit talking song. So we had to find other ways to connect it. And for the same, because you suggested originally when we were talking about what Jay songs to do, this one and Streets is Watching. And that one's really hard to find. I still don't know what to do with that one, but like, I do want to address it and talk about it sometime, but like, I don't know where to go with it exactly. So we'll have to talk about that later, but
I think maybe you want to know what we really should do.
hmm.
I want you to listen to Reasonable Doubt, and we'll pick the record that you want to cover off that album
Okay.
because there's plenty of stuff in there for you. Like there's
Okay.
tons for you to
Okay,
compare.
cool. And that's one of those. I don't know, honestly, that I've ever listened to that like back to front, like the whole entire thing. So it's one of those. Like even I know that it's one of the classics. Like it's one of the most important ones that's ever been done. So like it's one of those necessary cultural. Excuse me, necessary cultural touchstones that I know I need to encounter to be more educated on this genre. So I will do that and I will let you know.
I don't know in the rock and roll world
Mm.
whose debut album just kind of crept up and came out of nowhere.
Mm.
But that's what Reasonable Doubt is in the hip hop world. It's that debut classic that it's like, oh, hold on, he snuck up on us with that. Oh,
Mm.
wasn't expecting that. Did not expect that.
Okay. I mean, August and everything after this album is one of them. I mean, I mean,
I'll say the
people,
Count are similar in that sense too. Didn't they just kind of like pop up and like take over like out of nowhere? Like it
yeah,
seemed.
they were like Nirvana had Bleach before Nevermind, and they had been touring 3 or 4 or 5 years before that. Like, and Pearl Jam same way. I mean, and Soundgarden. I mean, all of those early '90s huge alternative rock bands were all bands for like not 10 years, but like 5 or so, like before they were grinding in like small clubs and stuff like that. It was not just like I mean, Nirvana did have a meteoric rise after Smells Like Teen Spirit, but they had also been like laying the groundwork for 4 or 5 years. Like it wasn't like they put the band together and then they went, shoo, right? These guys, um, Adam Duritz, the singer, who is again, I'll put his face on the screen right here. He's another one of those like instantly recognizable people, even if you don't know him from his name. He looks like a light skinned guy with dreadlocks. He's actually Russian Jewish descent. He's not African American, but like he's
Didn't know that at all.
I didn't either until I looked it up. But he was born in Baltimore and went to Cal Berkeley. The band formed in San Francisco in like 1991. Um, he left actually Cal Berkeley 2 credits short of graduating. Both his parents are doctors, so he has a very different like upbringing, obviously, than Jay would have. Um,
I
and
got the Cal Berkeley, Andrew. Cal Berkeley's hard.
it's a tough school, man. Like it's one of the best in the country. Yeah,
Very smart dude.
he is a very smart dude. Um, so they formed the band in '91. They made a demo, as I understand it, made a demo. They and then the bidding war, like over their like demo, like who get to put out their album, um, happened less than a year later. And Geffen won that bidding war and paid them a huge amount. It's not reported anywhere that I've seen how much money they paid them, but a lot of money, especially for a debut album. And it is one of my very favorite records. Like it is,
Okay.
um, it's one of those. It's not on the cultural iconic level of some of those other ones I named. It's not on the level of like Nevermind or Automatic for the People or for Joshua Tree or those kind of Rumors by Fleetwood Mac or anything like that. But it is one of the albums that has no bad songs. Like
Right.
it's good all the way through, and
Mm.
it's I mean a 7 times platinum album I think is what said.
Pretty
Um,
big. Remember how big it was? Yeah.
it's, it was a big thing, but also it's it was different than everything else at that time too. Not everything, but like in the rock and roll world, were more based on coming from the punk and Zeppelin kind of tradition smashed together. So you have the Nirvana's Nevermind, which comes from the Pixies, which comes from like the Clash and the Sex Pistols and the Ramones. You have Pearl Jam, who is coming from like the Zeppelin school of whatever. I mean, with other stuff mixed in, obviously, but um, this is coming from the singer songwriter perspective more. I mean, and it's got more Beatley stuff and it's got more Stone stuff and it's got less like it's definitely more upbeat and jangly and um than a lot of the other punky stuff, but it also has stories in it in a way that not many songs that were released at that time
It's not
did.
as not as aggressive and depressive,
No. It is, I mean,
or at least it doesn't feel that way to me. That would be
mhm.
my take on it.
No, it is definitely not as aggressive 100%. It is more subtly depressive, I guess. I mean, it's not because it's
Interesting.
not talking about they're not telling happy stories
Right.
on this record, but it does have the feel. It is this is Mr. Jones is a bouncy song. Like
Mm.
I'll forget my guitar. I didn't bring it in here, but I'll play the riff for it. Like it's just 4 chords repeated over and over. Um, and it is very, especially for a song that's in a minor key, it is jangly and happy sounding. Like, um, and it's about, you know, fame, right? It's about wanting to be famous. And
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear it. It cut you
It's
out.
like that most famous feel.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's, it's an important record. It's um, an important band. Like Adam Duritz has said now that he has dissociative disorder. Like he's like talked about that publicly. Um,
Really.
and he had a nervous breakdown after this album was released, like a year or so after, because of how fast they shot him into the stratosphere. And he's one of those guys, like a lot of these band leaders, independent of I mean, Kurt Cobain probably couldn't go out in public much, but most of these band leaders could, wear a baseball cap and like whatever and pull their hair back and mostly go out in public and not be hassled, right? There
Mhm.
weren't like, but his face, his dreads, he looked different
It's
enough,
very
and
recognizable.
he got no peace at all. I don't think. I think people followed him around. I think it was a really rough thing, especially for somebody with mental illness. The songs are just so good. They're so good. And they never really reached that stratosphere again. They had other great songs after this album, but I mean, A Long December is one of them, one which we will cover at some point, I'm sure. But they had several other ones. They covered Big Yellow Taxi, there's a Joni Mitchell song, Pave Paradise, Put Up a Parking Lot song. Um, that's a Joni Mitchell song. They covered the cover of that. So they have several other hits that come after this album, but nothing even close to as culturally prominent as this record was.
One of the questions that I had is what happened to them after this album. So I think you just answered that.
Yeah. They took some years off, not many, but like four or so. I don't remember when Recovering the Satellites came out. It was a few years later. Um, and that record is darker for sure.
Mm,
That's the record that has a Long December on it. Um, and there's not, and they put out other, like I said, they put out other records afterwards, but none of them really. And I feel like people are going to hear me say the other ones are bad. They're not bad. Recovering the Satellites is a great record too. And they have some live albums they put out. They're also really great. Um, but none of them like did this, right? None
mm,
of them were like that
yeah,
punctured the popular culture in the way that this did.
right.
And it's amazing that it sold that many. I wrote on here like it had two and a half singles essentially. Like it had Round Here, and this song Mr. Jones, and sort of Rain King. Rain King they played on 106.5 The End some, but it wasn't like the same kind of. I mean, it had a video, but it wasn't played the same way as the others were.
That's pretty impressive because this is back in the time where people were getting 4 and 5 videos.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like all the other albums that I named, Nevermind, 10, Automatic for the People, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, Jagged Little Pill, all of those had 4, 5, 6. Alanis had like 8, maybe. I mean,
Man, on the radio for a year
yeah.
straight,
Yeah,
nonstop.
we have to do an episode on Alanis soon. Like she's
Yeah,
one of
we
those
need
ladies.
to get You Ought to Know or something
Yeah.
done.
Like every single one, that's another one of those albums that has no bad songs.
I was familiar with her and Jagged Little Pill even before I was familiar with Nirvana, truthfully.
Hmm. It
Mm.
was it was one of those, and that one was 95, I think. Jagged Little Pill was. So um it would have hit us like when we were like just starting high school, like when we were 14 or so. And so in contrast to Nevermind, which we would have, or at least I found out and it hit me afterwards because I was like 10, 11 when it came out. So I was like before I had not really started getting into popular culture music at that point. Um, so I came to it really not until high school, well, until I was a freshman in high school, which was after Kurt Cobain had died. And so I backfilled a lot of that. Um, but no, Jagged Little Pill was one of the ones that hit me like right
Mm-hmm.
at the moment it came out. And it hit most of us that are this age at the moment it came out because it's it is both. We talked about with Nas, I think, with and in the last episode too about how so many of the artists are in the hip hop world are younger when they make their magnum opuses. That the world ages them faster, etc. Alanis was, I think, 18 or 19 when she was
19.
writing Jagged Little Pill. So
18 when she wrote it, 19 when it came out. Yep.
yeah, so she's another one that was. So the point I'm making though is that the music connected with us, I think, in a different way because it was also somebody that was roughly our age singing
Mm-hmm.
about those things too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the same way Nas would connect with people who were that age too when
Mm-hmm.
he made Illmatic. None of this has anything to do with with Mr. Jones,
I
but
mean,
I guess it's setting the frame of where this album showed up.
yeah. About to say, musically speaking, it's all relative, so it's all good. I want to go to the actual Bob Dylan line,
Mhm.
so like as a writer, how would you describe Adam? Is he like from the Dylan tree?
Yeah, I think so. And that's emphasized by the fact he comes from Cal Berkeley too. But it's the way the lines of the song work are very Dylan-ish. Like they don't rhyme exactly, not all of them. They go past the ends of the lines, are and they're telling stories and they're illustrating points and they are um, poetry for poetry's sake. Like you would say that Nirvana, in contrast, comes from the punk and the Beatles tradition. They're really short lines, basically pretty ironic, and kind of disjointed a little bit even. Um,
Mhm.
a mulatto, an albino, a mosquito, my libido, a denial. Like it's, they are a set of images that are juxtaposed with each other to make a larger point. Um, this is a story. I was down at the New Amsterdam, staring at this yellow-haired girl, and Mr. Jones struck up a conversation with a black-haired flamenco dancer, and she's dancing while his father plays guitar. And she's suddenly beautiful, and we all want something beautiful. Man, I wish I was beautiful. Like it's, um, and then the beat kicks in right there too. Like where so they're dancing, right? I mean that's part. It mirrors the music mirrors what he's saying.
Right.
I think it captures that feeling of being not quite there yet, and wanting something, and not. And he says a couple times like we don't really know why we want this, but we do anyway.
I think there is something psychological about the record in terms of like the conditioning that he's speaking to in terms of the material things that we lust for.
Mhm.
And this, like, I think it questions some of those things, kind of,
That's one of the
um,
reasons I connected the songs. Yeah,
yeah, it questions those things. Oh no, no, I definitely saw that. Definitely saw
yeah,
that immediately. It makes you, it's the way that he's questioning it. It's quirky. That's the
yeah,
best word to think of to like describe his perspective on all the, I guess, all the things, quote unquote, that we say that we need and that we want out of life, like money, power, fame. You know, he's addressing it from such a quirky standpoint.
yeah,
You know, but it's infectious though. Like
yeah.
as soon as the record came on, I knew what it was. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I think, and this is what I mean. Like, and I can't state this enough. Man, the simple stupid is never going to fail. So when he's just going sha la 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 la, la.
Hmm. Yep. So again, that's a lot of these songs have things you can sing along to, even if you don't know any of the words. And the I'm not going to try to sing his high note, Mr. Jones and Me, but like it's that's another one of those things that like everybody knows too. Like it's one of those that's instantly recognizable. Um, and we stare at the beautiful women. I mean, and it's we stare at the beautiful women. She's looking at you, man. There's got to be somebody for me. Like it's one of those, and that's a universal emotion. He's telling a story about something. It probably didn't actually happen to him. It's probably a fictionalized story, but it's something that we recognize the emotional content of, right? You see a
Yes,
beautiful person at the bar, and I mean, that's what they're doing, right?
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. But it's that. That's what I mean. It's touching a nerve, and it's the perspective from which he's touching the nerve. It's almost like endearing. It's kind of nerdy.
Hmm. It is, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. But in a good way, like in a healthy way. There's something. That's what it is. There's something innocent about it,
Hmm.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Something innocent about the approach to the infectious. It has an innocence to it.
Hmm.
It's like it feels kind of just like it feels secure that he's insecure. If that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah, it
yeah.
does. And it's fascinating to know that how much trouble he had like after this was released and after this album. It's not a good thing, but it's interesting because the line that comes after I want to be Bob Dylan is Mr. Jones wishes he was someone just a little more funky. And when everybody loves you, that's about as funky as you can be. Like that's cool. But also when he sings it live, like even a year or two later, you can hear live performances of it. He says, when everybody loves you, that's about as fucked up as you can be. That's the line he sings like in a live show. Which is an interesting twist on because now he's on the other side of that line, right?
Well, 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 you know, and you know how my faith kind of works. You know, you can prophesy, you know, your own demise
Hmm.
through words. You know, and so some of what you're telling me is happening to him is actually some of what he spoke to in this record
Hmm.
indirectly.
Yeah. No, he's saying like in the record, he says, like, I want to be big stars, but we don't know why and we don't know how. Like it's and when I look at the television, I want to what? I want to see me staring right back at me. Like it's
Right.
um and he
Hey,
did, and
look
it
what
came to
happened.
pass. Yeah.
Right.
And
But
so
look what. See what I'm.
at some level it's a beautiful, happy sounding jangly pop song, and on another level it's a be careful what you wish for song.
Yeah.
Um because you can see pieces even in the lyric of this song pre-fame, Counting Crows, that he's questioning, and they're questioning like, is this really what I want? I do, but like I've also seen it destroy people too. So like, is it really? Yes, it really is. Because he's lonely, right? I mean, that's the frame of the song. Like he's sitting with a friend in a bar, like watching girls. Like it's so there's a loneliness there, and that's the first end of the hook. Like, when everybody loves you, you'll never be lonely, right? And um, there's a
Sure about
dark
that?
there's a dark side to that too.
Sure about that?
Yeah, and right, it's not true, but like it's and whether he's saying it genuinely or he's saying it as someone as a character who is on the hasn't become famous yet, and doesn't know what's coming for him. I don't know which it is, but it's still oddly prophetic.
For
So,
better and for worse, it seems.
mhm. Yeah,
Selling 7 million records is hard.
yeah, it is.
Like
And
that's a lot of people coming to like, yeah,
yeah,
fandom is real. So are
yeah,
mental health issues. So
yeah, and those smash together, right? Like those are it's a difficult road for sure. And he seems much better now. Like,
so now we have the juxtaposition between the main characters too, because
mhm,
whereas Jay's almost unbothered,
yeah,
as opposed to Adam, who is very bothered.
right,
And that's what fame, kind of like, you know, it's a pressure packed situation. It makes some people, it really
hmm,
defines who you are already. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He said he went to Cal Berkeley, so he's kind of like a nerdy, quirky kid already, probably. You know
yeah,
what I'm
hmm,
saying? And so fame probably magnified that. Well, Jay was a big time hustler, so like he
they
already
magnified that too.
just magnified it, right?
Yeah,
So
and that's what they say too. Like, um, not becoming. They talk about that like becoming a president or becoming governor or whatever president. Usually, that it doesn't change you, it makes you more of what you already were. I mean, which is the same thing you're saying, right? It's and president being a president is one of the most famous things you can do, obviously. So it all it does is just amplifies the person, and it makes the worst the bad things worse and the good things better. Like it takes them and amplifies the
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. If you were an asshole before you had money, and now you have money, you're not like a good person now. You're just an asshole with money.
Right. And you can use it in bad and dangerous ways if you want to. And you have more access and you have more. Yeah, sure. Um, and
Absolutely.
and that's one of those weird things for me about doing this podcast and doing things. I mean, I don't think that I'll ever be famous on the level of Adam Duritz, obviously. Like, I mean, I'm not that iconic looking, even if we are famous.
You don't
But
know.
but I
You don't.
also don't want people stopping me on the street, and I don't want like to have to hide. Like I don't. It's a hard to think about this song in the context of what we're doing. Is a it's not difficult. It's not the word, but it's just an interesting. It's an
I'm.
interesting thought.
I'm used to knowing people like around the city.
Hmm.
But there have been a couple of times where, according to hip hop, people have approached me, and it has been a little different.
Hmm.
And just think about it, like I'm not anybody, you know what I'm saying, on
Right.
any sort of a level, even like in this city in terms of having a following. You
Right.
get what I
Yeah.
But that's happened to me a few times now in the past, year and some change. And it's a it's a different world, like Cree Summer to quote Kanye.
Hmm.
I want to know, you know, since we do have a little airtime, how do you define like a good songwriter from a great songwriter in popular culture? And give me an example of the two artists and the separation between the two artists.
That's a hard thing to do off the top of my head. Let's see. A good songwriter often, I think of many good songwriters as like one hit wonder people. Like it's part of great songwriting is melody. It's how the music, like the backing tracks, the drums, the guitars, the piano, whatever, go along with the melody. It's how they go together. Um, but it's also, can you repeat that? Right? Like, is it, I think that's one of the things you see on your list of great MCs too. Well, I've watched some of you and Mike talk about that, is that we know, for example, Andre 3000 and Lauryn Hill have made parts of great, great, great songs, but they have not done it often enough to be at the very top of the songwriting list. So you think of there are plenty of artists who have done like one great song or one great album. Um, and I would consider uh, Adam Duritz to be kind of he's not on the top level of songwriting. He's a great songwriter, but not great in the sense that we were just talking about. He would be on the good level as we were talking about it. But
He's
um
not all great, but he's great.
yeah, he is, for his generation and for what he's doing. Um it's hard, and the other part of it that he does better than just about anybody is putting the lyrical content with the melody too. Like
Mhm.
it's easy, well, it's not easy. We've talked about, I mean, that's why one of the reasons I say Joni Mitchell is like at the very top of the songwriting heap is because she has the ability to put incredibly profound lyrics and intricate poetic, imagistic lyrics along with beautiful melodies. And it's really hard to do both of those things. Um, so to be on the top level for me, you have to do either be like the very best. Like Paul McCartney's lyricism is not the best in the world. Like even he would say it's not the best in the world, but his sense of melody is like the top drawer, right? So, which is why the Beatles were the greatest um pop rock band that's ever been.
Melody.
Um, because you have Lennon and McCartney, right? You have the lyricism, and George Harrison too. Obviously, had also the
Yeah.
lyricism. So you you have those, and you have that combination. So um, I love Bob Dylan. He is an amazing songwriter, like lyrically. Um, and even though he sings through his nose and whatever, like his voice is not Joni Mitchell's voice or Paul McCartney's voice or Stevie Wonder's voice or anything like that. But it works for the songs and the lyrics are top drawer. But like I have trouble calling him 100% the full package. Like, and I'm going to get yelled at for that probably, but like it's not
That's
the reason that I listen to Joni Mitchell. And like when I choose what to listen to for my own personal whatever, not like for the show, just for like what I want to listen to. I'm listening to Joni Mitchell and I'm listening to Paul Simon. I'm listening to the Beatles and I'm listening to the Stones and I'm listening to like those are the things that I'm pulling out to listen to. And it's not that I don't respect Bob Dylan, but it's not what I pull out to listen to, right? So you
I
have to
get it.
try to be a great songwriter in my head anyway. You have to triangulate like great melodies and great music, like playing. And it doesn't have to be the most technically proficient playing, but like music that matches goes well with it, and like the lyrical content of the songs. Like all three, you have to have all three of those pieces.
Right.
And it's hard to do all three. And then obviously, just like your greatest MC list, you have to be able to do it consistently over a long period of time too, not just once. Right.
You gotta have evidence that you can like
Yeah.
perform at this level that we say that you're at, you actually like exist on that level.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that top level is Joni Mitchell, it's Paul Simon, it's I don't know, man, like Kurt Cobain probably, um, members of REM I love. That is not, I say the members because those songs are, the lyrics are written by Michael Stipe, the singer, but like they're also, the songs are made by like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like it's, if we're talking about pop culture music, obviously Stevie Wonder's on that list and Prince is on that list. I mean, that goes without saying, but um it's it's hard to be at that very top level. It's just a really short list. And I'm going to be go back and listen to this episode and I'm going to be embarrassed because I left somebody out. But it's yeah, that's kind of how I think of great songwriting. Does
No,
that
no.
make
I
enough
mean,
sense?
no, I mean, I just wanted to know what your vantage point was of it. So, like, yeah, that was pretty good. I think I expected to hear Johnny.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she's and she is not one that I listened to a ton before I started doing the show, honestly. Like it's one of those names that you kind of know, but you start listening to it and you're like, holy man, this lady has this is like otherworldly talent.
Mm-hmm.
This is not normal at all.
Right.
Um so um in ending all the episodes with shouting out Joni Mitchell is probably a good place to do, I guess. Um, Hey y'all, thanks for making it to the end of this video. If you love this, check out this video right here. It's another one that where Coop and I are talking about how two songs go together that you wouldn't maybe think go together. So thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.